So it seems as though simple truths do exist in our world, and we recognize them when we see them. Happiness never decreases by being shared, Buddha. As I have loved you, so you must love one another, Jesus. These are simple ideas. They're the kind of quotes that people toss around on Facebook all the time, but they're thousands of years old. How did they survive to finally end up part of Inspirational Cat meme?
I think when we realize the importance of these so-called truths, we feel this need to share them with others, and so we go about creating these stories to illustrate their relevance to our lives. It's like as these stories get passed along, people understand them differently, cultures get built up around them, and they grow into this whole different way of life. What starts as stories to help truths resonate with people suddenly become the whole focus of the culture. It's like the story of Buddha. It's a parable used to convey a truth. It gets passed along, the parable works so well, but it doesn't matter if Buddha was a real guy or not. It's like his story is just being used to spread this truth.
Yeah, people got it. They got the truth. Every generation has plenty of people who glean the message from the story built to carry it. But every generation also has people who get really into the details.
Yeah.
They're the fundamentalists who give the events in the story sometimes more weight than the message itself. And those people, they'll say, no, there really was a Buddha, and he was a prince, and he went out and he saw the sick people suffering, and he went and he sat under a Bodhi tree, then the Enlightenment came. So now if you want enlightenment, then you have to sit under a Bodhi tree, and no other tree will do, and you have to make sure you buy a little Buddha statue from the gift shop, you know?
Yeah, it seems like they go too far. It's a story about someone who found answers or a certain perspective from just going within his own mind. Buddhist tradition describes the various techniques that he used to accomplish that. If you're really interested in meditation, learn the techniques. You know, sit in our own living rooms, give it a try without having to mind about the Bodhi tree and the orange robes and everything like that. It's the examination of your consciousness that's the point.
Yeah, if you invest too much in the story, you wind up in the realm of superstition, where you have to start naming your gods and your angels and talking to them and asking them to intercede. And I would think that you should divest yourself of that story. Just forget it. It's done its job. It got you here to where you've caught a glimmer of the truth. So sit down and follow that instead of the story. Some people think that if we shed the stories, if we lose the stories from our lives, we'll lose the pathways to the truth. But when we look around us, these truths are being revealed in different stories all the time.
There's this great quote from a Zen master. It goes, "Before enlightenment, I chopped wood and carried water. After enlightenment, I chopped wood and carried water." It's this lovely little quote about the relationship between your spiritual life and your day-to-day existence. Being present in the moment, focusing your attention on what you're doing, making each moment in the simplest little chores into a spiritual experience. But what if it was expanded on and we decide to give the guy a backstory about how he was out chopping wood and suddenly became enlightened, and then the story gets passed down a few generations until people are focused on this idea that chopping wood and carrying water was an integral part to the process.
Yeah, and then the symbol of the religion becomes an axe and a bucket of water, and before you know it, this beautiful idea that we could all use to improve our lives is shrouded in this superstition.
Right.
And walls spring up between the people who think that the bucket of water was the point and the people who are adherents of the holy axe ritual. Maybe they'll even have a war about it.
Okay, I'll press that button. Oh, sweet. What happens if I press this one?